Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today we will be analyzing some of the notable picks of the NFL draft. So, on Thursday during the first round, I did live reactions and analysis of the first 11 picks, but I edited it together for time purposes. So, if you want to see that video, go watch that one. But analyzing more picks than the first round. The last round I have is the fourth round because it's the last round where I found notable picks. So to start off, the Jaguars took Trevor Lawrence at number 1. I think every first round quarterback, with maybe the exception of Mac Jones, will be a starter opening day. But I do think Mac Jones will be a starter as well. So Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance, 1, 2, and 3, will almost definitely be starters. Lance is a little bit less likely than the others because the 49ers still have Jimmy Garoppolo. So, in my mind, well, for me, it's going to be very interesting to see whether they go with the third overall pick and try Lance, or if they decide to give Garoppolo another chance. I would see who wins the battle in spring training and not spring training, preseason and training camp and stuff like that. But I prefer to see Trey Lance start. Kyle Pitts to the Falcons at number 4 was the highest tight end ever drafted, and it definitely provides the Falcons a good target. I think he's actually better than Calvin Ridley, so he'll probably be the number 2 option for Matt Ryan. And then, so it's going to probably be Jones, then Pitts, then Ridley. Jalen Waddle, no, sorry, I skipped Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase goes to the Bengals, where his former LSU teammate Joe Burrow is. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who's the number 1 receiver on the Bengals, either T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. I prefer the top receiver to be Jamar Chase. And a lot of people are mad at the Bengals for not taking Penn Sewell to help protect Joe Burrow. But I think taking Chase was a good option because of the LSU connection. Now we're on to Jalen Waddle. I thought Devonta Smith was going to go over him at number 6. But it's still an Alabama receiver, and it's going to help Tua, giving him another option to throw the ball. Then Penn Sewell went off the board at number 7 to the Lions to help their offensive line protect Jared Goff. Number 8, something I found very surprising, with 2 of the best 5 quarterbacks left on the board, the Carolina Panthers decided not to take Mac Jones or Justin Fields, instead to select cornerback J.C. Horn. So they're going to stick with Sam Darnold at quarterback, which I think is a horrible move because Darnold is not good enough to start in the NFL. Patrick Surtain goes to the Broncos. I thought they were going to take Justin Fields, but then they do have Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. So I thought they were going to trade Lock and have draft Fields, but they still have 2 quarterbacks, and they're boosting the cornerback position drafting Patrick Surtain. Number 10, we had a trade. It was originally the Cowboys. The Cowboys and Eagles, 2 division rivals, agreed to a trade. The Eagles got the 10th pick, and the Cowboys got the 12th overall pick plus a 3rd rounder. So the Eagles at the 10th pick selected Devontae Smith. Um, Now Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith both went to Alabama. However, they both did not get drafted from Alabama because Jalen Hurts transferred to Oklahoma because Tua had taken the starting job at Alabama. But they do know each other from Alabama, so I think that's a good move. Number 11, the Giants originally had the 11th pick, and once Smith came off the board at number 10, they knew they wanted to trade because they knew they wanted a receiver in the first round, and they still did take a receiver, just down later. So they pulled off a trade with the Bears. The Bears drafted their franchise quarterback Justin Fields at 11. And I think it's a good trade by the Bears, although they are giving up a lot. So the Giants get the 20th overall pick, the 164th overall pick, plus the Bears' first round pick next year, and a 2022 fourth round pick. So it's a lot to give up just for the 11th pick, but I can see why they're giving it up because it is for their franchise quarterback. So, in conclusion, it's a lot to give up, but yeah, a good move. Number 12, the Cowboys select Mika Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, just days after Sean Lee announced his retirement. So I think he's going to be great in the NFL just like he was in college. So other notable first round picks not in the top 12. Mac Jones to the Patriots. The Patriots draft their franchise quarterback. And at number 20, Kadarius Toney, a wide receiver from Florida. Goes to the Giants. And I think this is still a great move after the top 3 receivers were off the board. And number 24, Naji Harris goes to the Steelers because the Steelers' top running back was Benny Snell, and I don't really think Snell's a starter. So I think taking Harris is a great pick because he's a back that can play all 3 downs. And the Steelers, as I mentioned, desperately needed a running back. Number 25, Coach Urban Meyer said he wanted Kadarius Toney, but he went off the board 5 picks earlier to the Giants. So instead, they decided to keep Clemson teammates together, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. So now they do have James Robinson and Carlos Hyde. Robinson was an undrafted free agent. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they split the work. I think Hyde really won't have a big role, maybe 5-10 touches a game. And I think it's going to be split between Robinson and Etienne, with whoever performs better during the game will get more work, kind of like the Buccaneers did with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Let's go over to round 2. The Broncos draft North Carolina running back Javonte Williams. He's going to provide a great second string back, and he has potential to be starter right away, but he's not going to. Like, if he got drafted to a team that desperately needed running back, like somewhere with the Steelers, he'd be a starter. But since he's going to the Broncos and they already have Melvin Gordon, he's not going to be a starter, but he's going to provide a solid second string running back. The Giants trade down this time with the Dolphins. I think this was a bad trade for the Giants. So now, I knew the Giants were going to mess up somehow, and shocking they did. Because the Giants always mess up in the draft, just thankfully it wasn't in the first round. So the Giants needed the offensive line And they should have drafted the same player that the Dolphins drafted, Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, because he would provide the Giants help in the offensive line. Now, another thing with the Giants, I was very surprised. I'm not completely sure how to say his name. They passed on linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. And they also needed linebackers, so it surprises me that they pass on both those Notre Dame players. 49ers draft guard Aaron Banks from Notre Dame. He's going to team up with another former Notre Dame offensive lineman, Mike McGlinchey. And in the last pick of the second round, the Buccaneers drafted Kyle Trask. I think this is a great trade because he can learn from Tom Brady as the backup for the next few seasons. And I think he was way underrated. So I think he's going to be good in the NFL once Brady retires. But no one really knows when that's going to be. So he'll have lots of time to learn from Tom Brady. Round 3, the Vikings draft Kellen Mond from Texas A&M. He has potential, and he could replace Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins decides to move on. The Packers draft wide receiver Amari Rodgers from Clemson. He has lots of potential. But the Packers do already have lots of good receivers. Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Lots of good options. And with the Aaron Rodgers story with the Packers, I'll get to that tomorrow in sports news, so make sure you watch that. The 49ers draft another running back and add to their already filled backfield. They drafted Trey Sermon from Ohio State. So now their running backs, number 1, Raheem Mostert, number 2, Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon, and Wayne Gallman, which they signed in free agency. 4th round, the Jets draft Michael Carter from North Carolina. He provides... Now, I'm surprised that Carter and Javonte Williams were separated so much because they're both really good. They both had over 200 yards on the ground in the game against Miami. In fact, Carter had over 300. So it surprises me to see him fall to the 4th round. However, he does go to a team that desperately needs a running back, the Jets. While they have signed Tevin Coleman, he's been dealing with injuries past few seasons. So if Coleman does go down with injuries, Carter will most likely take over lead roles. So I think this is a great move by the Jets, providing them with a good second-string running back, just like the Broncos. The Panthers draft running back Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. He's the backup running back behind McCaffrey. Hopefully Christian McCaffrey won't get hurt. But if he does, Hubbard will get lots of playing time, and he's replacing Mike Davis, who went to the Atlanta Falcons in free agency. The Saints draft quarterback Ian Book from Notre Dame. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill are set to battle in I keep saying spring training, in training camp and preseason for a starting quarterback job. And now with Ian Book, he's pretty small for a quarterback, and I don't really think he's going to be in the battle for a starter, but he will provide them with a backup, well, a third string. So now, that's all of my notable picks for the draft. Thank you for watching. Please comment if you agree, disagree, or have any questions, because I'd love to know what you think of some of the picks. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you tomorrow for sports news, which if you want to hear my take on the Aaron Rodgers story, make sure you take a look at. But that won't be up till tomorrow night, which is as in Tuesday night. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you tomorrow for sports news.